Hi, I'm Tannu. My family earns a living by picking rags. I'm 24 and I'm not married yet. My community thinks that's crazy since all my friends were married, say, around 10 years back. We are 7 siblings. Only one was sent to school. One fine morning, my parents declared that Rabia, my sister, is the only smart one fit for school. Why did they not send me to school? I wasn't stupid for basic schooling. There were good schools nearby. Free education was possible. My parents affirmed the importance of education too. All of us could have had good jobs. My father definitely knew that. But why only my sister? Poor parents see education as a lottery. They cannot risk their hard-worked, meager earnings for children's education, only to hope that it might benefit them for future prosperity. That is why they often chose only one among many children and hand them over to the lottery of education. Education is worth taking a chance, but it's not a safe investment. To think about some returns in the distant future reaped by the children is somewhat a far-fetched idea to the poor. If my father allowed me to be schooled, it would be his gift. Education is parents' generosity. My parents love me. They express love in their own way, but not in the form of education. We needed that money to survive, and we needed as many hands to earn it as we could. Only my sister could be spared. Well, the other children had to be reminded that they are stupid, so it was publicly announced as well. Seriously, I was barely 10, and I believed I was stupid. I was convinced of my new role as caregiver to my younger brothers. I love them anyway. I hope you got an idea why I was not sent to school, but my story isn't over. It just began. Education in India is a bizarre story. Close to 35% of middle school children cannot read a simple first grade paragraph, and almost 60% of children cannot read a simple second grade level story. What about my sister? Well, from the first day at her school, the teacher made it clear that unless she is there with some exceptional skills, she's not really wanted. Teachers in developing countries think that their mandate remains to prepare only the best students for college. There's common perception that kids of humble origins have diminished brains and are incapable of thinking. Sadly, this view is held more strongly by the lower class people themselves. This lack of faith in us is worse than the high ambitions of a teacher. After all, we are just rag pickers, right? I saw Rabia slowly losing her confidence. She suffered silently in class until one day she just dropped out, making her a miserable person. My parents lost the lottery. They fell into the gloom of the famous poverty trap. They believed that they are trapped in this never-ending cycle of poverty where no income is created for the future. Small investments in any venture results in loss. To create an income tomorrow, you have to cross a threshold. This is an impossibly huge price to be paid. Poor parents think of poverty trap in education as well. Unless children reach that threshold, education will give no benefit whatsoever. And this is a completely false idea. That is when we were visited by a JP volunteer who explained things differently. Education is beneficial at any level. A rag picker who knows how to read has a better chance of earning. Soon my parents changed their view from this to this. And then I found myself sitting in a class at a JP school. The school was in our slum itself. And for one thing, we didn't have to leave our work because, well, the school started after work. This was definitely a bonus. At JP, we would be taught basic skills, first in the order of reading, counting, and writing. Because if a child had to drop out from school, he still had a better chance of earning after learning those things. These included improving our creative skills, motor skills, and emotional intelligence. A prominent feature of what JP calls process education is that the classes are not separated as grade 1, grade 2, and so on. There are only classes named Blossom, Buds, and Sparrows. I was a sparrow until I finished. I studied at my own pace. We progressed as a class together, as a group with no unhealthy competition. They used statistical methods to measure our progress, and we had some interesting subjects like inspirational studies, philosophy for children, home studies, social cognition, and self-awareness. These subjects were meant to instill faith in ourselves. The mandate here was prepare us for life. And, well, life we learned at JP. It was rather funny to see how my mother, whose mind was clogged with worries of survival, was now thinking about my future, not as a good wife, but as a woman. So now you can clearly see that I can safely blame JP for my unmarried state of affairs. Oh, by the way, Rabia, my sister, she joined JP's school as well, although as my junior.